What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to get into TNA Impact from February the 13th, 2025. A pretty okay show for the most part. We have some news and notes to get into real quick. So TNA has released Josh Matthews and Christy Hemme. Josh Matthews was with TNA for over a decade. He joined the promotion back in 2014. And Christy Hemme has been with TNA on and off since 2006. They'll both be fine. Josh Matthews notably did commentary, which he was not that good at from 2014, I believe, up until 2018 or 2019. And then from there, he did production for TNA. Christy Hemme has been a part of TNA's marketing department. So both of them will be fine. I would imagine that Josh Matthews is probably going to go back to WWE and work on their production crew. Or he could jump ship and go to Or he can go to AEW and be a part of production there. So either way, he'll be fine. I could see him going to either or promotion and being fine there. Christy Hemme, I could see her joining WOW, Women of Wrestling, or I could see her joining the NWA and maybe helping out the women's division over there. Maybe work with Jazz and, make sure the women of that promotion are on par. I can see her doing, backstage stuff and stuff like that. I doubt if she'll go to WWE. I don't know. I could see her in AEW doing backstage stuff there too. So you never know. She could end up anywhere. Same thing with Josh Matthews. But I think it's more likely that we'll see Josh in probably maybe AEW over WWE. Same thing when it goes to Christy Hemme. I could easily see her going to AEW as well and doing production stuff there. But we'll have to wait and see. But they'll be fine. Moving on. So this leads us into the first match of the night. Joe Hendry defeats Jake Something to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship via the standing ovation. So this match was solid. This was actually one of the best matches on television that Jake Something has ever worked. Match was very solid. So post-match, Ryan Nemeth, his sorry ass came out. He said that Nick is not going to be happy about this, that being his brother. And he's sick and tired of Joe Hendry. And he said that he's a fraud, that being Joe Hendry. So Santino Marella music, it plays. So Nic Nemeth super kicks Jake Something. He goes for another one. Jake Something dodges it. And Nick accidentally hits Santino Marella. So then we go backstage. Nick and Ryan Nemeth, they're pissed off. No, we go backstage. Nick and Ryan Nemeth are backstage with Santino Marella, and Nick apologizes to Santino and says they go way back. And Santino says that he has to suspend Nick without pay, even though he doesn't want to. Ryan is not happy, but Nick stops him and then he leaves. Okay, this is fine. This actually makes sense. I imagine either Nick is about to do some comedy for a while, or he might just be doing some stuff in New Japan for a while. One of the two. He might even do both. So maybe this is going to officially start his heel turn, because they've been leaning towards that as of late. He's just being, frustrated, and so this is just a slow process of it. But Nick more than likely will turn heel. I imagine They're going to do the Joe Hendry Nic Nemeth rematch at Rebellion. So they have a good 2.5 months to build that. And him being gone for about a month, basically a month, would be great. He'll probably come back around the middle part of March anyway, and that way they could start building that feud. So there's that. Moving on, the personal concierge, he comes out and he introduces the greatest knockouts tag team in history. In history, that being Heather and Ash by Elegance. So Heather and Ash by Elegance, they defeat the King Bees. They're a part of Booker T's Reality Wrestling School. Match was quite okay. The ladies show promise. The King Bees, they show promise. So really good stuff there. Heather got the win via a Spanish fly, which was great. That was nasty. Excellent stuff there. So post-match, Ash and Heather by Elegance, they were going to give a makeover to the King Bees with lipstick. But Spitfire come out, they make the save, and they chase them off. All right, that's fine. Okay stuff there. Hopefully, Heather and Ash by Elegance will actually become new Knockout Tag Team Champions. I still feel that they need to break up Spitfire and have Dani Luna be on her own. I think Dani Luna can be very promising as a singles act. Moving right along. So, Leon Slater, he's backstage with the Hardys. They come up. Matt and Jeff, they thank him. Leon Slater says that he was 9 when he started wrestling, and Matt Hardy was surprised, like he was shocked. The Hardys, they started at 15 and 12 or something like that. Leon Slater says that the other reason he got into wrestling, Jeff Hardy says, watching the Swanton 450 live, and then following up by his with his 450, with his own Swanton bomb, the Human Anomalies. So, Leon Slater thanks him. Really good stuff there. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Leon Slater is TNA's version of Javon Evans. They seem like they're kind of high on him. So I would expect he's going to get a big push in the next couple of months, I would imagine. I could see him being probably the next X Division champion. Maybe they're going to build him up to be the guy to dethrone Moose, which actually would make sense because Moose sucks ass. So, yeah. Moving on. So, Mustafa Ali, he had a town hall meeting earlier on in the night. So, he introduces his cabinet, which consists of the Good Hands and his press secretary, Tasha Steelz. He says TNA needs great leadership, and he's that great leader. And he announced that he's the rightful number one contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He says all those in favor say aye. So Tommy Dreamer walked up to him, and Mustafa Ali asked if he's the only one that's going to lead them into the next generation. Mustafa Ali asked, if not him, then who? So Tommy Dreamer points at Mike Santana, and then Tasha Steelz then says that the town hall meeting is adjourned, which is funny. So really good stuff there. I actually do like this. I'm a fan of Mike Santana. I really am. But I don't think that he's the guy to be the face of TNA whenever Joe Hendry leaves. I don't know who's going to be the face of TNA once Joe Hendry leaves, but it's not Mike Santana. I like Mike Santana. I really do. I think he's a serviceable upper mid-card guy. But as far as him being champion, like world champion, at best, I could see him being champion for about 2 to 3 months. Nothing beyond that. Moving on. So, Frankie Kazarian defeats Sami Callihan with the help of Mance Warner and Step the Lander. So, basically, Mance Warner attacks Sami Callihan right before the match. And then they come out again, and Sammy's then distracted by Mance Warner, and then he gets choked up by Frankie Kazarian with the chicken wing. So then Kazarian leaves, and then Sami Callihan gets on the mic and says they should keep fighting, and then they continue to keep fighting, and then security breaks them up. Who cares about any of this shit? Mance Warner is not over. I mean, he's okay, but he's not over. Moving on. Gene Miller's backstage with Josh Alexander. Josh says that he's sad it's over, but he's happy it happened, and he's pissed off that his last match is against someone he looked up to his entire career. He says he's going to go out there with everything he's got and show that TNA is the best wrestling. Is the best wrestling place on earth. So that's fine there. Do I care about this? No, I really don't. I don't. Moving on. So JDC comes up to Leon Slater backstage, and JDC says that he doesn't think he did well, that being Leon Slater, and says that he's making a career living off of the Hardys. Leon says that he wants JDC and wants no rules. Because the two of them almost came to blows, and they were separated by security because he got mad that JDC called him a kid. So they're doing the whole Javon Evans stuff. I do like this. There's really good stuff there. Moving on, Cora Jade defeats Zaya Brookside. She wins via the Jaded. That's fine. It makes sense. The match was all right. It lasted about a good, 5 to 8 minutes? Moving on. So, this leads us into Ariana Grace. So she's backstage. She knocks on She knocks on Tessa Blanchard's locker room. And Tessa says this is not NXT and tells her to go away, which is funny. I love this shit. So Santino Marella, he shows up. He says that she's been pulling out of matches left and right. He says he sees right through her. He says he's going to have her have a match next week. There's going to be consequences. Okay, this makes sense, actually. I do like this. I really do. I like what they're doing with Tessa. They're keeping her as a special attraction, and that's what you must do. Again, I do see her being the one to dethrone Masha Slamovich, either at Rebellion or at Slammiversary. However they decide to do it, it's fine with me. I just hope that this sets up them building up the women's division. And I do think that we'll see Indy Hartwell next week, because next week TNA is live. So we'll probably see her next week, that being Indy Hartwell. So this is good stuff. Moving on. So the Rascals, they come out next, and Zachary Wentz says that Wesley comes out and attacks him every week. Trey says that Ace Austin has their back and tells Wesley to face them, and he calls Wesley a bitch. So Wesley comes out and says that these fans don't deserve it. He said they're more than happy to oblige. So Ace Austin, he comes out, and then the Rascals, they blindside Wesley and Tyson and Tyreek. And then there's a brawl that ensues, and then Tyson and Tyreek, they get the upper hand, and then Wesley hits the cardiac kick on Ace Austin. Okay, good shit. I like this. Really good stuff here. Moving on. First Class, which is AJ Francis and Casey Navarro, they're backstage, and AJ Francis introduces themselves and says that they have an announcement next week. AJ Francis says if they're not First Class, they're last. Who cares about this shit? I really do like Casey Navarro. He's better off as a singles. For real. Get the fuck away from AJ Francis. He sucks. Moving on. Masha Slamovich defeats Savannah Evans to retain the Knockouts Championship. She wins via the Requiem. But this match was alright. I would love for Masha, no, not Masha, but I would love for Savannah Evans to actually go down to NXT for a while, or better yet, go to Reality of Wrestling, Booker T school, and allow Booker T to train her for a good 6 months to a year. she'll be golden. Because Savannah Evans has a good look. She's massive. She's massive. She's probably like 5'10", 5'11". That's pretty decent height for a female. So I do like Savannah Evans. I think she's okay. But I would love for her to take a pit stop in NXT for at least a good 3 to 6 months. Like, seriously. I'm surprised Cora Jade didn't show up in this at all. I'm shocked. I guess they're still building towards that. But we'll have to wait and see. Main event of the evening. Eric Young defeats Josh Alexander with the help of the Northern Armory. So, both of them got involved. Josh Alexander took both of them out. Eric Young then got the hockey mask that he wears. He hit Josh Alexander in the face with it, and then he followed it up with the power driver, and that was it. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything at all. So, this is basically Josh Alexander's last match, and that was it. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Apparently, it seems like both AEW and WWE have interest in Josh Alexander. I've read reports where Tony Khan has interest in him, and I'm pretty sure that WWE has interest in him as well. I would guess that probably he'll go to WWE because they didn't really write him off at all. They didn't. If they were going to really write off Josh Alexander, they would have done a massive angle to take him out, and they didn't do that. I was thinking they were going to, beat the shit out of Josh Alexander, maybe like a power driver on the steel steps a couple of times, bust him open, leave him laying. When you do stuff like that, that tells me that you're probably going to go to like AEW. But they didn't do nothing here, so I don't know. I don't know at all. If I was Josh Alexander, I would rather be in WWE versus AEW. I don't think that Josh Alexander is going to get a fair shake in AEW. I just don't. I feel like if he goes to AEW, he'll get fanfare like everybody else for about a good month, and then he'll go right back into Tony Khan's toy chest, and he'll just be on Collision, and we'll see him on the occasional, pay-per-view every so often. We'll see him, we'll see him on pay-per-views, but he won't be in any, meaningful feuds or anything like that or whatever. He'll be in the middle of the card. Whereas if he goes to WWE, he could reunite with Ethan Page. He could actually help out a lot of the young talent that's in NXT, help them out. So, I don't know. It's a 50-50 chance. 50% he goes to AEW. 50% he goes to WWE. I just think the way they wrote Josh Alexander off by them not doing anything, it strikes me as to he's basically going to go to NXT. And I think there's a real massive possibility that we do see him at Vengeance Day on Saturday. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do see Josh Alexander going to NXT. It makes the most sense. But we'll just have to see how everything plays out. Because apparently Mike Bailey was supposed to be in AEW, and he's yet to appear at all. He's not appeared on Collision. He's not appeared on Dynamite. And he's been gone from TNA for a good couple months now. So, I don't know. I really don't know. But TNA was okay. I'm actually excited for TNA next week for the live, show. I wonder who's going to show up. I wonder if we're going to see Miro, who might show up, maybe. That's a possibility. We could see Indy Hartwell show up, too. So, I have to wait and see. But what did you guys think of TNA? And where do you guys think that Josh Alexander will end up? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.